Broadcasting live on the UnitedWest.org AM radio network and simulcasting on DirecTV, iHeartRadio, Roku, and the World Wide Web, this is Enemies of the State with Tom Trento.
All right, we got a great one for you today here on the 23rd of April, Thursday, 6 minutes after 4 o'clock. We got the Stemberger family against the Trombino family. And oh, wait a minute. Wrong show. I think that's Family Feud.
That's Family Feud, Tom. Yeah, that's Family Feud.
For some reason that I don't know why Family Feud comes into my thinking, but we do have the Stemberger here, John Stemberger. He'll be with us in a little bit, and we have a guest in our control room, Sue Trombino, fabulous woman.
Oh, you want to put her on camera here? You want to put her on camera here?
Yes. Let her say hello to everybody.
Say hi, Sue.
There's Sue right there.
There she is right there.
We'll hear from her a little bit later. We have John Stemberger, who is one of the key guys, one of the key attorneys on many, many issues, particularly the conservative issues that deal with Judeo-Christian worldview. He'll be with us, giving us a report from Orlando, where he's based, but on Tallahassee and on the state of Florida, the political issues and concerns. Then second up today, we got Jerusalem Jane. She's back. Today's part 4 in our 5-part series.
Been a while.
We got Janie with us. You know what? We spent so much time with her over there. It was like she's always with us, but we missed her the past 2 weeks or so.
We certainly have.
We have. And for our regular viewers and listeners, you know that when we got back from Israel on April 6th, we quickly reloaded, did a couple of shows, put them in the can so that we can get to Washington, D.C. for the 13th and 14th Muslim Brotherhood Advocacy Day on the 13th and Palestine Advocacy Day on the 14th. We initiated Operation We Care. We disrupted, disabled, destroyed the Muslim Brotherhood's influence operation at the United States Congress on those 2 days. We had a flyer. If we can throw that flyer up, it'd be great.
Oh,
we'll get it
just
later.
throw it out there at us.
We'll get it later. We'll get it later. We had
a
a flyer.
Pocket. I have it in my pocket. Hold on.
We distributed 400 flyers before we got thrown out to the United States Congress, to members of the U.S. Congress, and we had 3 Muslim terrorists and Grover Norquist right on the front page of that. Due to many factors initiated by Frank and Glenn Beck on exposing Grover Norquist through the years. Our 10-part series, about a year ago, we did a 10-part series, The Wizard of K Street. And the coup de grace was our effort on the 13th of April to expose Grover as simply an operative, a Muslim Brotherhood agent of influence. And
there he is in the bottom.
There's reams. There's the flyer we distributed to the United States Congress. We distributed that on the 13th. On the 14th, Grover fired himself from the NRA board. He was on the 11th.
How do you do that?
On the 11th, he was reelected to the board of directors for the National Rifle Association. They launched an investigation into his Muslim Brotherhood ties. We hit him on the 13th. He fired himself on the 14th. And we're praying this isn't a theater by he and the NRA where they exonerate him, because there's overwhelming evidence, and you're going to see some of it with our third guest. I had 4. But our third guest, after John, after Jane, we have Josh. 3 Joshes today. 3 J's today. That's pretty good. We have Josh first, who was at a CPAC type event last Friday, week ago, this coming Friday, in Pennsylvania, 3,000 people in the audience. And when Grover Norquist came up to the podium and was about to speak, stay tuned for the third part of our show, and I'll tell you exactly what happened. You're not going to believe
is it Josh
That's
first?
what's known as a tease.
So Josh is first or fourth?
First and fourth.
Well, he's Josh
first. It's third.
His name is Josh first, but he's the third J of the day.
But he's fourth. But he's fourth. Is he fourth or third or first?
Who's on first? Josh first is third. Okay.
Oh, third.
And where's John S is first, and Jane is second.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I was a
Somebody,
little
Sue, you know what
confused.
we're talking about?
You run the
confused.
TriCast and we'll run the show.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't look?
Why don't you go to the wall, Tom?
I hate when people say this. Without further ado, whatever ado means. Let's go to the Wall of the West and meet one of the great defenders of Western civilization.
Hey, John.
Johnny boy, how are you, man?
Good, Tom. How are you?
Great seeing you. For our viewing and listening audience, John and the United West go way back. John was the main guy that stood as the advocate, as the attorney for Rivka Barry.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Hey, yeah.
Converted from Islam to Christianity, had to leave her family in Ohio because of internal death threats from her own father. Wound up with the Lorenzes in Orlando, and we got involved, John got involved, and man, that was a wonderful story that maybe in the future, John, we can get you back and do the follow-up to that. But right now, we want to get your view. Tell the folks who you are, what you do for a real job, what you do for your Saving the West job, and then we'll talk a little bit about Florida.
Well, when I'm not operating my small private practice here in Orlando, I run the Florida Family Policy Council, and we are fighting to protect life, marriage, liberty, and the family, these institutions which are fundamental to having a civilization. Tom, you can't build a civilization if you're starting from a state of nature without having a way to organize human beings and socialize children. It's something called marriage and family structures, and they're crumbling at an exponential rate. The secular left is acting as if it's no big deal. People are not replenishing themselves in our own population. Other groups are replenishing themselves, and if you look at the number in Europe and the United States, it's not pretty. And so we're just trying to get people to understand that these structures are necessary for basic human social order, and without which we'll see a collapse in the social order of profound proportions. So we're in Tallahassee fighting for life, marriage, religious liberty. In Tallahassee, unfortunately, the Republican legislature has gone wild.
Wait, hang on, John. Your opening statement needs an interesting story. First of all, you sound like a right-wing religious fanatic. That's what you sound like, and probably 95% of what you just explained about social order and cohesiveness in a culture is not even understood. Not even understood today,
right,
John, certainly by those in the academy, by many people in elected office. But here's a very relevant point. About 3 weeks ago, we had as our closing speaker in our phenomenal mission to Israel. We took 25 activists and took them all over the country. And Moti Kedar, Dr. Mordecai Kedar, was our concluding speaker. And he wrapped up, and we were there, John, on a national security mission. He wrapped up our whole week and a half mission there, 10, 12 days, and we asked him to speak on national security. And he starts out a PowerPoint. Damien, remember how he started out his PowerPoint?
I was busy catering to some of the guests.
Oh, that's right, you were. He starts his PowerPoint by introducing us to his 5 children, right? And we're going like, this is nice, but we're talking about national security. And he goes, this is my son here, and my son, and my son. And then he goes, oh, by the way, I'm talking about national security. And he then went on to integrate the stability and cohesiveness of the family unit as a building block for the national security of a country. Wow. It was one of the most beautiful pieces I've seen put together to bring the cultural aspects of family to the necessary goal of national security for a culture. It was amazing.
That is fascinating, and it's absolutely true. I mean, the most important form of government is not in Washington, D.C., it's not in Tallahassee, it's around the dinner table. And this is where these little human beings called children are socialized. It's where they learn self-government, so that if we can self-govern ourselves, we don't need external government coming in and creating regulations for us. And unfortunately, that's collapsing at an exponential rate, and so the state is right there to rush in for more social programs, more redistribution of wealth, more reliance upon the state instead of reliance upon family, communities, churches, synagogues, and the like.
Yeah, and now for the person who's interested in factual information, if you take that paradigm, the crumbling of the family, and work it out, where as the family gets weak, the state gets big, the state needs more money to make the state bigger, then the state mitigates its capability to deal defensively or, when necessary, offensively from national security. There's a direct line between stable families and a stable national security for government. But let's go up to Tallahassee. What the heck is going on in Tallahassee these days?
Well, Republican legislators have gone wild. They've lost control of the process. Normally, everything that goes on in Tallahassee is very structured. There's no bill that's heard where they don't know the outcome. But we have two very unique situations, both in the House and the Senate, where they've actually, they are now in one session going from removing the prohibition on homosexual adoptions to allowing homosexual adoptions to actually requiring homosexual adoptions, or allowing faith-based adoption agencies like Catholic Charities and Florida Baptist Children's Home to be punished and fined for not placing children with homosexual couples. And so we've seen Catholic Charities close in Massachusetts after 100 years of service, in Illinois after 4 decades of service, and we're now seeing that threat right here in Florida in one session under Republican Christian legislative leadership. It's very complicated how we've gotten here, but it's unacceptable. We may be looking to Governor Scott for a veto, and that is going to be a very serious matter. We're going to ask him to man up and veto this bad bill and say send it back with conscience provision. The problem is, Tom, it's a good adoption bill, but it was hijacked in the House of Representatives, and the prohibition on homosexual adoption was struck. Now, the issue really is not homosexual adoption, which has been going on through DCF, been breaking the law for years. The issue is that statement actually provides protection for faith-based adoption agencies who prefer to place children with a mother and a father. And without that statement, it leaves them vulnerable to attack by local non-discrimination ordinances or an equal protection challenge.
Yeah, regardless of where somebody stands on the gay issue, the homosexual issue, we all know the gay political lobby is aggressive, it's committed, it has a political agenda, it wants to turn the family unit upside down and redefine families, and a culture has to determine, is this a good thing or a bad thing? And we'll deal with that in a more comprehensive manner, because this is a quick overview from you. We also have going on in the state of Florida, if you haven't noticed, a bunch of people that are kind of realigning and getting in the starting blocks to run for the President of the United States, and Marco has committed. A senatorial position opens up. Help make some sense out of that whole situation.
You mean the open U.S. Senate seat?
Yeah, the open seat, and Jeb and Marco, and yeah.
Yeah, well, as usual, Florida is the place for politics, and we've got no less than 4 presidential candidates. We have Mike Huckabee in Destin, who is now a Florida resident for the last 4 years. We have Jeb Bush, Marco Rubio, and Ben Carson, who lives right where you're at there in Palm Beach. And so that's a very interesting development. The open U.S. Senate seat, we're still praying and trying to recruit a conservative for that particular seat. But it's interesting. Florida's a melting pot. It's a very significant state. It has every demographic of the entire country. And so, it's just interesting to see these developments happen.
Pretty good. So you're recruiting a conservative. What's it pay, John? I mean, I don't make that much here. Yeah, I would have fun with a position like that. That's for sure. All right, what do you have on the agenda in terms of Florida family policy, and in particular, we have Sue Trombino here, who works mobilizing grassroots people all over the country. You're an expert at mobilizing grassroots people. You know this very well. Mitt Romney lost to President Obama in 2012 by 73,000 votes. We have run the numbers. At least 1 million, probably 3 million self-professed Christians who read the Bible and go to church did not vote in the state of Florida. How do we get Christians to get out and vote? And for us doing national security, protecting the state of Israel. It's so essential to get Christians out, particularly in Florida. How do we do that, John?
Well, the first thing we need to get conservatives to turn out is to have a conservative on the ballot. That's the problem. When you looked into Mitt Romney's ideological soul, there was nothing but a little Mitt Romney statue there. And he really stood for nothing other than himself. There was no first principle that was really driving him other than just pure political pragmatism. So we need a conservative. Conservatives never lost because conservatives never had a candidate on the ballot. That was the problem. And so the good news is we've got a great lineup of men in the Republican Party that really understand and get it on a number of levels. And so that's the good news. There are some deficient candidates, but there's a good number to choose from. And so I'm trying to, across the country, get conservatives to get on the same page, because what's going to happen is if we don't, see, the Citizens United case changes everything. One donor can fund an entire campaign literally through the entire primary. So you're not going to have candidates dropping out after South Carolina anymore. You're going to have candidates, literally 9 to 10 candidates, going all the way through the primary, through the entire process. So the establishment candidate I submit will win unless conservatives can unite behind one candidate, because their vote will be fractured so much. We have to unite. We have to get together. And so I'm trying to get conservatives around the country to think and hold their powder dry until we see who emerges and get behind a viable person that can present a challenge to the institution.
Hey, John, this is Mark. I got a question for you.
Sure.
Well, we found out here in Palm Beach County last time that the conservative message works regardless of. Yes, it's important to have a conservative candidate, but the message is important. And we were able to shift 32,981 votes in Palm Beach County with that message being the number one county in the entire United States of vote shift. And how important is for people like Sue, you, and Tom, and everybody to get out there on the streets, on the ground, and actually talk about the conservative message, conservative values, and inside the church, Christian values.
Well, I do agree with you, but the problem is that the message and the messenger have to become one.
Agreed.
And we saw there was a consensus around Rick Perry, and we saw what his inability to communicate winsomely did. He self-destructed. This is one of the reasons I think Marco Rubio and even a guy like Huckabee, these guys are outstanding communicators, and you can't underestimate the power that has in bringing the message. If you can't articulate a conservative worldview and do it in a winsome way and do it in a leading way where actually you can lead the culture, the wider culture who doesn't agree with you, find bridges to get them to actually join with your position, then it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to carry the day. And so I think I think Rubio is very strong for that reason. I think he's the finest communicator in American politics today. I'm not necessarily endorsing anyone quite yet, but that's an important thing. If you can't communicate and do it in a winsome way where you can get people that don't agree with you to agree with you on some of these issues, then you're going to have a hard time making it out of the general election.
Good point. Very good point. All right, John, we know we got to let you go because you have to go do your real job as an attorney. And what kind of law work do you do in case somebody listening or watching needs an attorney in Orlando?
Well, actually, I used to work with Mel Martinez and Ken Connor. We actually do personal injury work. We do business law. We do constitutional litigation. I don't do any advertising, Tom. You can't even find me in the phone book. You have to know me to do business with me. We're on TV a lot, but not because we're advertising. It's because our cases are high profile. So happy to handle cases all over the state of Florida if folks want to talk.
And there's a non-advertisement for
advertising.
I don't want your business.
What?
I don't want your business.
Okay, now, John, we're going to try something tricky in our fancy studio here. We have a tremendous Christian woman who works with us in Jerusalem, Israel, Jerusalem, Jane. We wanted to introduce you to her because both of you have a lot in common. And if Allah wills...
oh, no.
If Allah wills, before the end of the year, we may even have a news bureau set up in Jerusalem.
That's right.
We're working on it. So, Mark, what do I have to do to make
Sit down. Just sit down. Quit talking. Sit down. Quit talking.
Okay.
That's going to be hard for you. I
know.
So there we go. Then we have John. Now we're going to bring them both on and
say
hello.
Magic.
Say hello, Jane. Got to bring her up. Come on up. There
Oh,
she is.
look at that. It worked. It worked. John, meet Jerusalem Jane. Jerusalem Jane, meet John.
Jane, how are you?
Hey, John.
Can you hear each other?
Yes.
Yes, but I can't see him, but I can hear him.
Yeah, she can
Jane,
only see me.
tell John a little bit about what you do.
Well, I'm in Israel to love the Jewish people. That's pretty much, basically, I meet Jewish people every day saying I didn't think we have any friends. And I'm really here to comfort my people and to just love them everywhere I meet them. And then I have my own page on Facebook where I blog because the media is so biased against Israel. And I really feel like somebody needs to tell the truth and speak the truth. And especially I come very much against the lie called Palestine because that is robbing the Jewish people of who they are and their land and, where they can build, and they are not even allowed to call Jerusalem their capital. So I have many hats on to stand for the Jewish people, and then I try to wake up the Christians around the world to say you need to wake up and stand with Israel.
Pretty simple.
Pretty simple.
Your thoughts, John?
Well, I like the fact that she's wearing an American cowboy hat because that kind of wraps it all into a nice Western worldview.
Yeah, well, yesterday was Independence Day, and it's a big party in Israel. We're going to hear about that from
Today's Independence Day.
Yes.
It's almost the end of the day, I guess, 4 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night in Israel. But we're going to hear all about that from Jane. John, we're going to let you go. Any last thoughts or admonitions for our viewers, listeners?
Tom, thanks for all you're doing to defend Western civilization and our values. What you're doing is critical. You're calling people on the carpet that no one else is calling on the carpet in our entire country, and so I really appreciate your friendship and your work, so thank you.
All right. Hey, God bless you. John Stemberger, take care. We'll get you back weekly and get reports on all you're doing and try to work together to save the world. Pretty simple job. I'm going to go over to see Jane over there now.
Oh, yeah, go walk up there, go see her.
Bye, John.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Is Jane at the Great Wall of the West?
Well, I
yet?
got to get her over there. You got to give me a chance to switch.
Look, the
inputs
camera's
and
on
the leads and
President Obama's.
we got to get her there. There we
The
go.
camera's
We
on
got
President
her over
Obama's
there. Okay.
foam head. There's Janie. How you doing? Hi, cowgirl, Jane.
She can't see you because
Yeah, she can't see me?
she can't see you.
Okay, you can hear me. That's all you need to do. Again, for our
I
listening
miss
and
you
viewing
guys. I miss you.
I
Oh,
know.
do we miss you too, honey?
Hang on, let me give a little station ID here. For our viewers and listeners, it's
Oh, you don't have a prompter now. See if he remembers it.
28 minutes after the hour, 28 minutes after 4 o'clock here on the East Coast in Florida. I did not know Ben Carson lives in Palm Beach.
I did not know that either.
I knew Huckabee was up in Destin. So we have 4 of the 400 people running, 4 of them from Florida. And we're on WSBR radio, WSBR, Sunny Boca Raton, 740 on your dial. Lock it in. You need to listen to us every day, preferably watch. You can listen by going to iHeartRadio. Download that app on your smartphones. If you got a dumb phone, you're a dumb person, throw it away, get a smartphone, because that's more effective than even carrying weapons nowadays. To have one of these phones, it is a technological cyber weapon.
A what?
A technological.
Technia what?
It's a new term. Cyber weapon. Get smartphones, and please, no vertical videos. No vertical videos.
Right.
Only hard. See my eyes? They go this way, not this way.
Right.
Not this way. All right. We're also on WHFS 1010 in Tampa Bay. We're on theunitedwest.org, teapartycommunity.org. And we're also on DirecTV. Yesterday, we're sitting in the studio. We put on DirecTV, went to YouTube, put in the name of the show, and boom, we're watching it on the big screen.
Yep. And also on Roku and all that other good stuff.
Good
also, one thing we did learn, you wanted to talk about the closed captioning thing, Tom.
This freaked me out. Mark shows our show after it was done. The show is on our website at 4 o'clock East Coast time. It stays on 24 hours. Then it's replaced by the next show. And the one that gets replaced goes to our archive, which is youtube.com/theunitedwest. There's about 800 hours worth of shows there. Start watching today. And Mark pushed a little button, and there I am speaking Hebrew without taking one lesson.
No way!
It was amazing.
Also, you speak Arabic, you speak French, all Farsi, all kinds of languages.
The
Please
captions.
teach me that.
The captions come up in the language, and it was the Hebrew. Jane was very close to what I was saying in English in real time. Absolutely amazing. So tell all your friends over there that don't speak English, watch the show because you can read it in Hebrew. So let's go to Jane now.
Very nice.
We missed you, Janie. We had a great time 2 weeks in Israel. The last day, which was Easter Sunday, that we were there, Mark and Alan. Well, you guys talk about what happened. Tell the audience what the three of you did on that last
We're
day.
actually going to shirts that say Damon. What's the shirt say?
We're going to sell T-shirts in Jerusalem that say, I got Allah Akbar on the Temple Mount.
Put that little Arab girl's face on it.
We'll put that little Arab girl's face on it. Just Allah Akbar.
You got to get the tape. We'll play a little piece of that tape to let people know what we're talking about. But Jane, on the last day, Easter Sunday, where'd you take my guys? What did you do to them?
Yeah, she abused us.
You liked it. Come on, just admit it.
Yes, we did.
Well, the thing is actually that I have people contacting me saying, you know what, when we come to Jerusalem, would you take us to the Temple Mount?
Oh, really?
You guys did that.
Yeah.
That's what people want to do when they come here now. So I took your guys, Tom. I took your guys to the Temple Mount.
And she actually enlightened me on some very key issues that I wasn't aware of.
Why don't you run that? Can you run the garbage dump one?
Yeah, we're trying to right now.
This is
actually beginning, Damon. I haven't got the volume up. So
hang on, Jay. We're going to run one of the videos.
What are your videos here? Hold on a second. Ready?
Yep. There we go.
There it goes. Okay.
Easter Sunday.
This is Jerusalem Jane. I am at the Temple Mount, the holiest of the holiest place. Right over here is the gate where the King of Kings, according to the Christian, is going to come back. That's a holy place for the Christians. Right up here is where the first and the second temple was. But who's in control of this place? The Muslims. You would think when they want this place, it's because it's holy for them. They could not care less. Look where I'm standing, in the midst of a filthy dump with garbage, with toilet seats. It's so disrespectful, it's so disgusting. This is a holy place for the Jewish people, this is a holy place for the Christians, and the Muslims are filling this place with toilet seats. Come on, this is disgusting.
Wow, very powerful. I know that was a controversial piece, but you seem to be wearing a blue scarf, which kind of goes, what's that all about?
Yeah. Well, you had to.
Better. Go ahead, Jane.
When I came up, I had to cover my legs. I was wearing a dress. I was wearing leggings. Pathetic. So I got into a fight with him, and I said, if you want me to wear a skirt, you give it to me. I'm not going to pay 25 shekels to wear your partisan scarf. And he didn't like that. So I covered my legs, and then I had to take it off to cover my hair, and then I had to cover here. So they were really pathetic that day.
Every 5 minutes.
Remember, Mark?
Yeah, every 5 minutes we were going back and forth. Hey, you need to cover your hair. She said, cover her hair for 2 seconds.
Tell the people who's saying this.
All the Muslims. It's just to harass people.
The thing is, when you come up, they have the guards who decide this. But the one who wants to cover my hair was just some lady going up there saying, are you a foreigner? And I said, yes. And she said, please cover your hair. Who is she to tell me to cover my hair?
Yeah.
And then a guy came up from the mosque and he was saying, cover this. You could see here. It was like, oh.
No, I mean, just
they go crazy if they
make
see skin.
Rules.
They go crazy if they see skin.
Yeah.
What's happening at 34 After, ladies and gentlemen? Jane is from Denmark in Jerusalem, praying and working with Jewish people there, supporting them, going to the events, and we'll get to why she's wearing a cowgirl hat right now. But on Easter Sunday and earlier in the week, what does that mean? Oh.
Would you be allowed to wear that cowgirl hat on the Temple Mount, Jane?
Well, you're not allowed to show anything Israeli up there, so I don't think so.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Should I give it a go?
No,
yeah,
that hat would not work. But Jane goes up there all the time. She's produced these videos, short videos of some of the Islamic insanity up there. She went up Easter Sunday with Mark and Alan. They shot a series of videos. And the Temple Mount, you got to go there. Sue, have you been to Israel yet? Have you been on the Temple Mount?
You got Mike.
You have not been on the Temple Mount yet. Sue, meet Jane, by the way. Let's
Hi,
have.
Jane.
Hi, Sue.
Hi.
Can
how
you
are
see each other or no?
I can see her. I don't know if she can see me, but really proud of
I
what
can
you're
see
doing.
Mark. Oh, I can see her. Hi.
Hi.
Another blonde.
Another
Beautiful.
blonde. Here, look this
Hey,
way.
Mark.
Look, here's the camera right
David.
here.
Right there.
Yeah,
Hi,
but-
Jane.
Hello.
Hey, you.
Tell Jane what you do. Explain that.
Gotta get up on
And how she can reach you on the internet.
Yeah, go.
Well, you can get us at womenimpactingthenation.org, but we are definitely Friends of Israel, and we educate and equip women, also men, with knowledge of God's truth about our faith, our family, and our freedoms, and then we help support those who take a stand for the Judeo-Christian values upon which our country was founded. But we are definitely in your corner with Israel. We stand with Israel. We love Israel, and we pray for the peace of Jerusalem all the time.
God bless you for that. Thank you.
We will
Thank
get
you
you
for what
two
you're
guys together.
Damon, what do you
And
Okay.
let's get back to areas, Jerusalem, Jane. All right, it's 36 after, and yesterday we had a special show on Memorial Day in Israel, where the country simply stops for the 23+ thousand that died in the protection of Israel from the 14th of May, 1948 until yesterday. Still under attack. And then the following day, which is today, Independence Day, and obviously the Memorial Day leads to independence. The battle and the lives of Israelis lead to the independence enjoyed by so many people. Tell us about Independence Day, and do we have any video? You have some video on your website we can take a look at?
I don't know if you have it ready, but I posted a lot of videos both from Memorial Day and from Independence Day. And can I just say, it's so weird. I went to the official ceremony at the Hotel, the Western Wall, with the president and the whole thing from Memorial, standing there listening to the siren and, all the soldiers crying. And so many people have lost their lives for defending the Jewish nation, both soldiers but also terror victims.
He continued.
The next morning, I went to the Mount Herzl, also for the cemetery up there,
Yes.
watching all these people cry, standing behind the gravesites of their loved ones. And then on Sunday, it's party time, yeehaw, and everybody goes out and celebrate because God is faithful. And since 1948, the Jews has been in their own land. It's such a contrast to have all the mourning and then you just go out and celebrate. But that's what the Jewish people do every day. We have to pick up after a terror attack. 2 hours later, they pick up and life moves on. The Jewish people are the toughest people in the world.
That's pretty amazing. Now, on Independence Day, where the fireworks and the food and the parties, where were you? Where did you go? Different parts of Jerusalem?
Downtown Jerusalem, baby.
Oh, you mean by Mike's place, where we were hanging out on that street?
I miss you guys every time I pass that place. I think about you often.
In Israel.
I was downtown. There was a lot of different stages built and, live music. And there is this tradition that people foam each other, those big cans, and then they just foam and they bunk you in the head with these big plastic cameras. And it's just a joyful time. The Jews are celebrating. We made it. Hey, we are still here. The world hates us, but hey, we are still here.
We saw one of your videos where you were walking home at night through the Muslim Quarter. And again, for our viewers and listeners, the Muslim Quarter is the Muslim section of the old city. It's divided into 4 sections. And the streets are maybe 10 feet wide, little alleyways is what they are. And you're walking in, a Muslim world and Muslim kids and stores. And you're narrating, and then the kids on the bikes. What was that all about?
That was the night after the opening ceremony at the hotel. So I walk all the way up the Muslim Quarter, and they had closed up early. Normally their shop would be open at the time, but they closed early. And before I start filming, yes, I have these IDF soldiers in front of me. And these 4 kids on bikes were riding behind them, screaming at them, yelling at them, going in and out. And then they just stopped. I was, this is kind of, what is this? So I took out my camera and I start film. And all of a sudden they just come rushing behind me on the bikes, again, just going up just to intimidate these soldiers. And the more soldiers are coming and I'm just filming because, hey, this is action for me. And again, I'm not doing anything, but I'm showing what they are doing. That the soldiers can't even go there. And then other Arabs were coming, encouraging the young boys on the bikes. So more soldiers was coming and I was just happened to be in the midst of it filming.
It's life every day for the IDF. They're standing,
Yeah.
keeping guard, and the young teenagers come and harass them right up to their face. Do we have the Temple Mount Screaming Eagle girl there by any chance?
No.
Little piece of her. We can't grab that. It'll give you. Go to Jerusalem Jane's Facebook page, Israel One Nation, Israel One Nation, and just scan through and look at her videos that she puts up, and you will come across this about a 9 or 10-year-old Arab girl with a bunch of Arab women in burqas, and they're there to scream and yell at Jews primarily.
Every day.
Yeah, every day.
Every day they're being paid to be there every day. That little girl is doing a good job.
She's an Arab hero worldwide because of her harassment. Now, how long is it going to take for her to figure out, hey, if I blow myself up in a synagogue, I'll be even more famous and I'll be in heaven. They're training jihadis, from day one. It's unbelievable.
Well, we watched that other really disturbing documentary, Tom.
We got to play that.
We got to play that one day. How these people are just being literally, Hitler Youth style, even worse than Hitler Youth style, just programmed into hating Jews, hating Israel, saying that the Jews stole the land. It's so anti-Semitic. It is so just horrific.
I got that from Jane. That's David Benleen,
Here it is.
the one. Yeah. We're going to play that on the air at some point.
Yeah, this is the Allahu Akbar stuff.
Oh, here, check this out. Here's the little girl. That's us up there. Yeah.
And she just sits there and screams the whole time, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And it's every time. And Jane, we witnessed that, that in our when we were out there going around seeing the group of women yelling Allahu Akbar every time these group of women, they just sit there and they and every time a Jewish person comes by, they scream Allahu Akbar, and they just go like bananas. It is really. And
they pay them. We talked about that, Mark. They bring them in buses. These are Arabs, not just from Jerusalem, but from around Israel. They bring them in buses just to scream these women, and they pay them for crying out loud. They're paying them money. It's kind of like a job for them, and the kids are getting candy.
Yep.
It's evil.
There we are up there saying, all right, let's get out of here. All right, Jane, we got to get rolling. We need to talk to you about a lot of things. We'll do that maybe a little later today or tomorrow.
Yeah, I got to go celebrate my birthday.
Yeah. Today, Jerusalem.
Today or yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, it's your birthday?
It's my birthday right now.
Oh, my word. I thought it was yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
Jerusalem Jane.
Happy birthday to you.
Wait, Jane, are you saying your real birthday is on Israeli Independence Day?
Yes, baby.
Unbelievable.
This year,
unbelievable.
I think it shifts, but this year it is anyway.
This year. I said this year.
This year it is.
Yeah. Pretty cool, Janie. We'll see
Thank
you.
you.
Stay safe. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye,
Okay,
Jane.
bye.
Go sit down.
Great
Shalom,
woman.
gorgeous.
Schmucky had a real good time with her.
Yeah, he did.
All right,
But,
Tom Trento here as we shift gears. And if you're just tuning in at 44 After on beautiful, actually it's going to be a very rainy day on the 23rd of April. We're on WSBR Radio, 740 on your dial. Go to iHeartRadio. You can listen anywhere in the world where there's a cell signal. We're broadcasting out of Tampa Bay 1010, WHFS, Money Talk Radio up there. And our today's show is part 4 of a 5-part series that is integrating our trip to Israel, our mission to Israel, national security mission, with some of the geopolitical issues of the day. We started out with John Stemberger, giving us a view of the potential presidential candidates and the significance of Florida as a key swing state, battleground state, with 800,000 Jewish people here. Very important state for the nation of Israel. We then went to Jerusalem with Jerusalem Jane, got an on-the-ground report about Memorial Day and Independence Day and the vitality of the Jewish people and the nation. Now we're going to segue to our third guest coming out of Pennsylvania. And we met him recently. He's got a phenomenal story to tell about one of the focus or targets, ideological targets of our organization, United West, somebody we have declared an enemy of the state. His name is Grover Norquist. We've done a tremendous amount of work, 10-part series last year, The Wizard of K Street, a major hit on April 13th in the United States Congress. But we found out last Friday something very interesting happened, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome Josh First, new guest to the show. Josh, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, Josh? Can you hear
Hi,
me?
Tom. Thank you so much for having me.
You're coming by phone, not by Skype.
Yeah, we got to solve that problem,
Because
Josh. What's up with that?
Josh
Come on.
is living in the 18th century.
18.
still,
No, but
you know?
geez, oh man, come on.
We got to get him up to speed on the Skype thing. But we do have photographs, great photographs of Josh. We searched the internet far and wide, and there he is. Where are you? You look like you are. Oh, you can't see. He can't see.
Yeah, because
No, he can't see.
he'll see it later. He'll see it later on a
We
computer.
have you
He
in
does
the
have a
field.
computer, right? He does have a computer, I believe.
You look
right?
like you're on your way to the office with a yellow vest and a shotgun. What's that all about, Josh?
Well, I don't know which one. Is that with my son?
No, this is you standing alone with the mountains in the background. Beautiful shot.
Yeah, right there.
Oh yeah, that's a rifle. That's a very nice 308 rifle. I was out deer hunting with a bunch of friends. That was taken last year.
Tell our listeners and our viewers a little bit about yourself and how you wound up on our show. Then we'll get into the reason for you being here.
Can you hear us, Josh? Oh, we lost him. We lost him.
How did we lose a guy on the phone? We can Skype Israel, but we can't
Skype Israel, but we can't get
Pennsylvania.
right.
Nice operation we have. Perfect time to say,
Yeah.
make a donation.
Make a donation. Help us out.
We can get the
we got
thing
him
that
I
back.
think we got him back.
And
can
you
get that-
use tin cans and string.
Wait, yeah.
You can use connection easily. Now, I'm a fanatical hunter. I'm one of the very few Jewish hunters in America, and I just wanted to give you guys those photographs because it's so important for people to see, and I think especially for Jewish people to see, that there are Jewish people not only who own guns, but who use them in a legal and safe way. And I'm raising my very Jewish son to be an absolute hillbilly. He hunts, traps, and fishes with me all over central Pennsylvania.
My
And
name's
it's a very
Bertie
good thing.
Goldstein.
Beautiful. Now, for our viewing and listening audience, and we're pretty seasoned here, but new people are coming in. We have your Josh First's blog. Your last name is First. Is it First, your last name, or that's what you're using anyway?
No, that's his last name. First is his last name.
First's blog. I saw one of the pictures of dead deer. You know, if
my God.
PETA
Yeah.
tunes in, they're going to faint and everything. Now, once you shoot a deer, what do you do with the deer?
You eat it.
Well, you make sure it's dead, and then you gut it. You cut down through the belly with a knife, very carefully, so that you don't puncture the viscera, and you pull out all the guts so that the animal doesn't spoil. Those guts and anything over freezing will begin to spoil, and you pull out all the guts, and then you put a tag on the deer. Or maybe I'm getting that reversed. Then you should tag the deer first, and then gut it, and then you drag it out of the woods. Or on some of our wilderness hunts, where you couldn't possibly drag a deer, we will cut the meat off the bones, put the meat into a heavy-duty trash bag, and then put the meat in our backpacks and take it back to our campsite.
And you're missing the best part, Josh. You eat it.
Eat it. Sooner or later, you eat it.
You can't eat it raw. I mean, I'm sure you could, but I wouldn't recommend that.
But for all the squeamish people right now, next time you order a Big Mac, guess how that got in your hands, okay? You know, the deer doesn't jump into your sandwich, or the cow or the pig or fish or anything. Somebody's got to go grab them. They have to die so that you can live. That's the cycle of life. That's the way it works, you know. But
agreed.
Yeah, there's now that's your sort of an avocation, because we've spoken a bit. What do you do for a real job?
I run a small real estate firm. We specialize in natural resource management, timber, gas, coal, mining. But I do all of this stuff as a way to try to conserve land. And I know there's a lot of conservatives out there who don't understand why, but I am a hook and bullet guy. I am an outdoorsman. And I really believe in protecting, conserving, not environmentally preserving, but conserving natural resources. And because it's my money, it's my investment, you know, I could put a house on the land or I could decide to put a conservation easement on it. I prefer to do easements if I can, but we very aggressively manage timber. We are very involved in mining and natural gas extraction. We try to make money where we can, but our goal at the end of the day, if it's possible, is to try to permanently conserve the surface of the land as a working landscape. So I would say 50 acres and up, 50 acres to 1,000 acres at a time, where you're preserving a landscape.
And John,
functions as a forest or a farm.
I just saw an interesting element of our show today. We had on a right-wing, evangelical, conservative Christian, very politically active, John Stemberger in the state of Florida. We have a conservative Jewish guy on right now, and if John and Josh sat down, probably 90%, 95% of their worldview would be harmonious, if not 100%.
And John Stemberger, if you'll remember, is also very involved in scouting. So it sounds like they really have
an
a lot
outdoorsman.
in common.
And then we had in the center Jerusalem Jane, and both Stemberger and First are advocates of Israel and Jerusalem. Interesting mix. We didn't even plan it.
I have a question.
Wait. I got to get into what's the question.
Yeah,
we got
a
88-year-old Jewish guy here. Go ahead.
I was wondering if we could go gefilte fishing sometime.
That's Schmucky Putznick. He's our 88-year-old Democrat who voted Republican for the first time in 2014. But that's another story. You're here today, Josh, because you had an amazing experience last Friday at, I think you were in Harrisburg. Was it Harrisburg?
Yeah, it's technically Camp Hill, but it's right across the Susquehanna River from Harrisburg. It's Harrisburg, for all intents and purposes.
Tell us the story. Tell us this amazing story.
Well, this is the annual, pardon me, this is the annual Pennsylvania Leadership Conference. It is to Pennsylvania what CPAC is for conservative activists in Washington, and or who are nationally motivated, nationally involved, national politics. This is the conference that we have every year in the spring that brings together conservative activists from all over Pennsylvania, frankly, a lot of people from the states around us, and plenty of people from Washington. And a guy named Loman Henry, who is a conservative Republican activist, does a fantastic job pulling this off every year. And I have to say, even some of the establishment people, real big movers and shakers in politics and finance, said publicly from the podium this year that they attribute the PLC, again, our Pennsylvania Leadership Conference, that they ascribe the success in the last 7 or 8 years of the PLC strictly to the Tea Party activists.
Wow.
And so what had been always kind of a small, kind of a think tank, like a weekend-long think tank conference on issues and candidates and so on, has really grown. I mean, we had Senator Pat Toomey, we had Rick Santorum, who gave a brilliant, off-the-cuff, extemporaneous speech. No, it did not involve social issues. It was all about Iran. It was all about the bomb. It was all about Western civilization and the threat that Iran represents. Forget Israel. I mean, I'm very pro-Israel, absolutely, but it's about America and about Israel. But, he was saying, you guys have to understand what a bad deal means for America and for you. You're not going to wake up some morning and find out that Tel Aviv got bombed. You're going to find out that someone snuck a nuclear bomb into Manhattan or Los Angeles or Chicago and detonated it, and that city no longer exists. He said that is what we're looking at. And he gave a brilliant speech. We had one speaker after another of that caliber, except we did have a high caliber guy who's not a great a great guy, and that was Grover Norquist. And I have run for office twice. I'm a political activist. I'm a Republican, but I'm a Republican like many people who are active today. I'm a Republican not because I believe in the Republican Party. My family, my dad's side, has been Republican, from the very beginning. But I am a Republican because I'm a conservative, because I believe in traditional, basic American values like capitalism, limited government, the Constitution, simple things like that. Well, Grover Norquist has, over the past, I'd say, a couple of months, really gotten onto the radar screen of a lot of activists like me. People who are not professionally involved in politics. We don't have a radio show like you guys do. We're just, we work hard for the candidates who we support. We might be involved in our county Republican committee. We work very hard going door to door for candidates we support, for ourselves, and so on and so forth. But, we read Breitbart, we go to Drudge Report, and Grover Norquist, whose tax pledge I have signed twice. No new taxes. I signed that happily. I really believed in it. He kept showing up as this real jihadi lunatic. And I kept thinking, okay, this is nuts. This has gone too far. Started to read. The more I started to understand, the more I started to research. None of it made any sense. I couldn't believe that Grover Norquist had become this jihadist. And it's true. It's really, unfortunately, true. And I was sitting there when Grover Norquist walked up to the podium at our Pennsylvania Leadership Conference last Friday afternoon, and he arrived in this big limo with all these the accoutrements of a Hollywood star, all these security people with earbuds, and very self-important. And he got up on the podium there, and I thought, you son of a gun, I am not going to stand here or sit here at this table front and center. I was like 15 feet, 20 feet away from the guy, and listen to your crap. I'm on to you. So I decided to get up and leave, and I told the people at the table, I'm leaving. And several people did join me. And the one person who did not leave, an older woman named Thea, said, I am going to sit here and listen to him so I can tell people for the rest of my life that I got to hear Grover Norquist lie to an entire room of people. There's about, 5,000 people in that room. And I thought, wow, okay, and I'm going to look like a jerk to a lot of the people who know me. I'm going to stand up in the very front of the room while this guy's just starting to speak from the podium, and I get up and walk out on him. Except that when I get up and take about 5 steps and I look around, the room is disgorging people. About a third of the population of that room is heading for the hills. They're running out the doors.
Wow.
And, you get out there and people are like, oh, this guy stinks, this guy Grover Norquist. We all signed his pledges when we ran. We've all told our clients or our friends who have run to sign the pledge. We know how evil, exorbitant taxes are, what a problem taxes have become. And, now we're on to them. And I couldn't believe it. And it was very heartening because I really thought it was going to be like me and the 2 people from my table who got up and left and walked out on him in public. And then when you looked around the room, it was literally emptying out.
Unbelievable. Hey, Josh, we're fighting a clock here, but I want to try to get in. We've got about a minute and a half. The security story, and then we may have to go. So give us the security story real fast, and then we can pick this up on another day.
Well, it's funny. So Grover Norquist finishes his speech. The limo goes down to the back end of the building. He apparently walks out where, Toomey and Santorum and all the other speakers, came and went out of the back door there. The limo picks him up and then drives him right back to the very front of the Radisson Conference Center where he gets out, people hold the door open for him. It's like Hollywood. I mean, you couldn't get more Hollywood than this guy. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all, I'm important, look how important I am.
Yeah,
the
it's
guy
Napoleon complex.
And I'm glad you guys have done all this work on it.
It's a Napoleon. It's a Napoleon complex.
Napoleon complex. Yeah, we're going to have to wind it up here because we want to pursue this. If you could find some video, and I know you may be out there looking for it, we will put it together. We'll get it on some key websites, our work, get it out. But Grover is an enemy of the state. We've established that without any question. We're so glad that Americans are starting to see this. We appreciate your work. We want to stay in touch with you. Thank you for everything you're doing, and
good work, Jeff.
and for raising your kid the right way. And another Jew with a gun. This is amazing in America.
I love it.
Look, thanks, guys. Great to be with you today. Have a wonderful day. God bless you both.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
And that's the end of our show, ladies and gentlemen. We'll catch you tomorrow, Friday, which is what, guys? Jumping Juma Freaky Friday. Goodbye. See you tomorrow.